Hey, Fantasia, welcome. I'm Tony Timpone, co-director of international programming here at the North American premiere of Ida Red, the sensational crime thriller directed by John Swab that has been taking the world by storm. Just played the now you've joined it as Fantasia. We have a fabulous lineup and crew with us this evening. Let's start with the producer of the movie. His other credits include I Am Fear, Body Brokers, and Run with the Hunted, the last two, which were directed by John Swab. Let's welcome Jeremy Rosen to Fantasia.
Tony, Fantasia, pleasure.
Hey, Jeremy. Next, we have the director of the film. We played his first movie here at Fantasia several years ago. Sold out crowd at the Concordia's Hall Theater. Let's have a big welcome for the director of Let Me Make You a Martyr, Run Hunted, Body Brokers, John Swab, writer-director of tonight's Ida Red. Let's welcome John.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks for having us.
You bet. And thanks for bringing a fabulous cast with you this evening. We'll start with the gentleman who plays Bodie in the film. His name is George Carroll. He was also in your films Run with the Hunted and Let Me Make You a Martyr. Let's welcome George Carroll.
Hey, how's it going, Tony?
Hey, welcome. In the film, he plays Jay, and he's also been in such recent films as Death Wish, and he was in a former Fantasia movie called The Signal, and in a brilliant series that was on Showtime this year called Good Lord Bird. Let's hear it for Knapp. Beau, are you with us?
How you doing, guys? Good to see you.
Hey there. Hey, Beau. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And let's see. We have also a veteran of John's films, Body Broker. He's also been in such genre movies as The Purge and The Gray. The one and only Frank Grillo is in the house with us tonight. Let's give it up for Frank.
Tone.
Hey, Paisan.
What's up, brother? Let me get this started. All right, can you see me? There we go. How are you, Ben?
Let's get this party started.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, this is a big reunion. A lot of you have worked with John Swab before. What is the experience like that you just keep coming back to this guy?
I'll jump in. By the way, we haven't only worked with John and Jeremy, but both Beau and I and George and I have worked together in the past too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a family affair for sure. But getting to John, I mean, there's something of a throwback element to how he writes and directs, and he's a guy who's lived a life before he was a director, a tough life. And so when he writes from a place of emotional knowledge and spiritual knowledge and physical knowledge, and it's knowing Beau as I do and have worked with him and George. It's like these are the kind of directors and writers that guys like us, actors like us, seek out. And it's not surprising that he's created this amazing troupe.
Jeremy, how did you first connect with John, and what was your attraction to his material?
Sure, I'll keep it brief. But John I met by happenstance. I was sitting at my usual morning coffee shop, Don Fanucci style, sitting outside sipping espresso, and I see this guy who turned out to be John. Very interesting looking cat, and come to find out he's sitting there with his dad. He was in LA trying to sell his debut film, Let Me Make You a Martyr, which of course you premiered. I just put out a picture called Dog Eat Dog with Paul Schrader and Nick Cage, and we were eavesdropping a bit mutually. John's dad happened to ask my little dog's name, and break the ice, and the rest is history. I read what was an early draft of Run with the Hunted and saw a screener of Martyr. I was blown away, and we're on our 6th film together since. That's amazing.
Wow. John, talk about your background. You've had a life on the streets as a teen runaway. You got your you mixed up with drugs, and then you survived working with Marilyn Manson. How have all those past experiences informed your career as a filmmaker, and also how does it reflect your latest film, Ida Red?
That's a loaded question. I think it's taken me really until Ida Red or Body Broker specifically to kind of really, I feel like, find the kind of films that I'm interested in making. And that was kind of the impetus for Jeremy and I making Ida Red, is because, my favorite films are films of the 70s and films that deal with, complex characters. And it's more about the characters and the world those characters exist in than the story itself necessarily. My background, I've encountered a lot of interesting people, a lot of people on paper that are probably don't look like good people, but there's a lot of humanity in those people, I find, and I'm fascinated by them, and I'm drawn to those kind of characters. I've known George a long time. I've gotten to know Beau really well, and I've gotten to know Frank as well. And like Frank said, I mean, I really pride myself, and Jeremy and I both pride ourselves in kind of curating this troupe, this kind of repertoire of people that we like to work with that all have, common touchstones in their past, and identify, in the same way, especially in our taste in movies. So.
Let's turn to our actors. What were your first impressions of the script when it was offered to you? How were these characters pitched to you? These very dark characters, and was it also difficult to find light in these? You could say they almost unsympathetic characters, except for maybe George Carroll's character. He's kind of on the side of the law, but. How did you want to bring some lightness into these really dark characters? And again, what was it about the script that ignited the passion in you to make this movie? Maybe we'll start with you.
Do you want to start with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it was actually the opposite. This is probably the least dark character I've ever played, which was very appealing to me.
You're cast against type.
Yeah, and what I really love, I met John. I saw his short film called Judas Chariot, and I was struck that he had his artistry and his voice. Even though I think he's mastered his craft along the way, he always had that really strong voice, and he had that independent kind of streak. He doesn't really play by rules, and that appeals to me. And I like to work with people like that. And so I'm down to do anything that John reaches out to me. We were talking the other day about reading the character for Hondo that we did for Let Me Make You a Martyr in a coffee shop in LA, and just everything that's evolved ever since. So, I mean, I think this movie, I just watched it the other night for the first time, saw it all together, and wow, just blown away by it. It's harkens back to the great films of the 70s that I love so much too. That's my favorite era of film. But I guess as far as the darkness and the characters, I don't know if I'm the right one to answer that. I almost felt like, I was somewhat of a moral compass in this film, which is very odd for me, by the way.
And Beau, I think you're new to the stock company here.
No, yeah, I am. No, I was lucky enough to hop on this thing for a couple of weeks, and the first thing I did, I watched Run with the Hunter, and I was just shocked. And I wanted to live in these worlds, John came up with, and wanted to get dirty. And Jay,
Nice.
I wouldn't think Jay is a bad guy. He's got a lot of heart. He just, he makes some bad decisions. But it was now, from the moment I met John and Jeremy, I felt like we clicked. We understood each other, and going to work in Tulsa, it kind of made me remember, why I wanted to start acting. it was organic and
Oops. Hey, could you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. I think, did Beau freeze up there?
Yeah.
Beau didn't pay his Wi-Fi bill.
He's on location in Toronto. Yeah.
Okay. So Frank, tell us about, this is the third movie you've made with these guys?
This is the second. I will be making the third
Okay.
in October. Yeah. It's interesting that you say that about the darkness of the characters. It's like I don't see myself in the movie as dark. In fact, I see myself as the light. I see myself as the comic relief almost. And there are moments where he's got to handle himself in the business the way he does. But I think there's a beautiful lightness about him.
Well,
I think his love for his family is like, there's a nobility in that. And it's like, if I got to kill somebody from my family, it's okay. I'm an Italian, I'm a first generation Italian guy from Southern Italy. And, it's not unlike the La Cosa Nostra. And in Italy, they don't think they're bad people. They're people who have no choices, but to do what they do. And it's about the family. And the way John wrote this piece, it's a family drama. It is a pure family drama. And it's hiding inside there is a little bit of genre, thriller stuff. But I saw it as a family drama. I mean, I literally was in love with Josh Hartnett's character, and all I wanted to do was please Ida Red and make sure we were okay. And so I saw it as a big love story.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of Josh Hartnett, I was never a big fan of his because I'm not into romantic comedies, and he was always pigeonholed in those kind of roles,
Yeah.
And later to see him play this, I don't want to say villainous character, but criminal character was such a career changeover for him, and he's just, to me, it's opened up a new Josh Hartnett in my eyes. I thought he's just so outstanding, and I hope to see him playing more of these kind of characters because I think he's really found his niche. Unlike like I said, the lighter stuff that he used to do, and I hope this leads to even stronger roles.
Yeah.
What was it like working with him?
He was great. I mean, he was game. And listen, Josh has been an actor at a very high level in this business for a long time. But what's beautiful about him is, there's still a level of insecurity and unsureness, and he's very self-effacing. He's very serious. He's a very serious guy. And because I most of my stuff's with him, obviously.
Yeah.
And but I thought he did a beautiful job in balancing a vulnerable villain. And again, credit to John for writing these roles perfectly. And they were kind of actor proof. All you had to do was show up and say lines, and you were pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. John and Jeremy, what led you to cast Josh Hartnett in that role?
After you, Maestro.
Like Frank said, I mean, Frank, I think, was one of the first. Frank and Melissa were the first two people to come on to the project. And, like Frank kind of alluded to, we needed somebody to kind of counteract, what Dallas was. And, Josh has this really stoic and kind of leveling presence to him. And, Jeremy has brought up Josh a bunch in the past when we were looking to, cast certain roles, and this one just felt right. So, Jeremy went after him, and we got it done.
Wow.
Just as an aside or PS, needless to say, I don't take it for granted. I mean, Beau, George, and Frank, and Melissa, and Josh, and Deb, and Sophia, and Forsyth, my old buddy. I mean, I don't take it for granted. They all give John and they give me an audience, and and it's wonderful. They all have such busy schedules, and to find the time, it's not like our labors of love are big paydays for anyone. So it's very flattering when they sign on for our projects. And Josh, was relatively last minute, if you can believe it. Was this is not uncommon for any indie film, right? But it was quite the roller coaster casting Wyatt. And I hadn't worked with Josh before, but as John said, he'd been on my proverbial short list for ages, and his agent gave me an audience, and he really responded. And then, just as an aside, the safety protocol made it very difficult. Josh lives in England, and so it was a bit of a moving target regarding whether or not he'd be able to fly to the States, and even more importantly, whether or not he'd be able to return to his family. So navigated all of that, fortunately.
Mm-hmm. Did he relish the opportunity to revamp his career, or to change his persona on screen?
I don't know that Josh looks at it that way. I mean, the thing that actually I really admire about Josh is that it's not like, anybody, told him to stop working. I mean, he decided to raise a family and take time off and to, be a dad. And I think that's really commendable. And, since then, he's been very selective about what he wants to do. And I think the idea of kind of, playing against type excited him. We talked a lot about the character and how he wanted to play it. As Frank said, he's a very serious guy. And, it was really cool. And he brought something to Wyatt that I think, that I didn't really plan for, but in the end, it really kind of helped the movie a lot, because he has this very familiar face where him from these, these movies that he was in. And he kind of is this relic of a time that's kind of past the age of the movie star, like the heartthrob. And so it kind of provides this warm, like calming presence in the movie when he's on screen, next to especially Dallas, who's like I always say, like a stalking tiger or something, so I'm really proud of what Josh did. And I'm grateful that, he came and took a chance on the movie with us.
Yeah. I mean, if I could just kind of add on to that, cause I'm a huge Josh Hartnett fan now. Josh is the only movie star, look, all of us have been in lots of movies, and, we star in movies, but we're not movie stars. Josh Hartnett is a legitimate movie star. Whether he's still a movie star now, it doesn't matter. He breathed very thin air. Whether you like what he did or not is irrelevant. Josh Hartnett is a movie star. As a producer of films, he's a movie star, right? And so there's a lot of baggage and shit that comes with that, having to be that, right? Like, me and Beau and George and, even Melissa, to agree. She's not a movie star. She is an she is the top of the food chain actor, right? She's amazing. She's not a movie star. That's another animal. And that kid, and I say kid because to me he's a kid, he's a movie star, and he's got to carry that with him for the rest of his life.
You guys shot in Oklahoma. What is it about the state of Oklahoma that brings you back there, Jeremy and John? Well, John, you were born there. What is it about that state that lends itself to movies like this? And not just the tax incentives.
Well, yeah, the tax incentives help. I'm from there, like you said, Tony, and I've learned, especially starting out making movies, the most important thing to do is to use what you have, and don't try and reinvent the wheel. And so the only way I could make my first few movies was to, use the resources I had, use the people I know's businesses to shoot in, et cetera. And so we kind of built this little, team down there that's we really have come to love. And it's also, a lot of people don't know a lot about Oklahoma. They know Texas, they know LA, they know New York. They see that in movies a lot, especially overseas. We've come to learn, and they're really, yearning to see places like Oklahoma on film. And because it's kind of like this kind of lost piece of Americana. And, fortunately, the kind of movies that I like to write, lend itself to that environment. So it just makes sense to keep doing it there.
Do some of our cast have any anecdotes about working in the OK State? George, Beau, Frank?
Well, I love being in Tulsa. It's actually kind of like it's become a home away from home for me. One of the guys who's like a brother to me, who's in my band, Danny Boy, he's actually in this film too. And he, after we did Marta, he loved it down there. We were on tour and he, was scouting old locations, and he found the Outsider's house, and he ultimately bought it and turned it into a museum. So Danny lives down there. I'm in Tulsa pretty frequently. So to be down there and shooting this film, this was the third one that I've been down there to do with John, but it was just such a pervading sense of gratitude from everybody. We were in the height of the pandemic. Everybody was locked down for 4 or 5 months before that. And we get to go down there and enjoy making a movie and really, just be in the midst of the creativity and the craft and the bubble down there. It was really an unforgettable experience, honestly. I had a great time being down there, and there's something about Tulsa and especially the way it looks on film. It's just, I think that's part of, what really comes through when you talk about harkening back to the films of the 70s. It's almost untouched to how it used to be. You know what I mean? It's not like there's all these gigantic new big shiny buildings or anything like that. It looks like it's the 1970s still down there almost. Yeah.
Nice. And Beau, did we find Beau? Did this connection come back?
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. No, I love Tulsa. Even being in the pandemic and being in the bubble, and I've never felt just more at home or free or open or ready. I don't know if it's just not working for 4 or 5 months, but no, maybe it's in the water, but it's, I've never felt more energized or been on a more electric type of set where we knew we were doing something special. So I'd never even been to Tulsa, but I really enjoyed it.
Great. And Frank?
Me again, we're going back. There is something, as both Beau and George had said, there's something of an Americana throwback feeling where it's okay to be American. Like, do you know what? I don't, coming from New York City, which is such a cosmopolitan global city, and LA, which is LA, but you get into Tulsa and you really, it's okay to be American, to talk about the things that are kind of taboo here in LA and New York, and to go make this film with these people, again, not to beat a dead horse, but during a time that was really difficult. And this movie was not made for very much money. The fact that we were at the Locarno Film Festival with the likes of Abel Ferrara, like with this little movie, and the accolades that like everybody get. Mostly John, getting compared to Martin Scorsese. I'm not, it's no joke. It's serious. As a business, that's serious stuff. And I think it all stemmed from this authenticity of this place. And we really got tight. Like every night we'd hang out together and, a couple of drinks, a couple of glasses of wine, and talk about the movie. And it just lent itself to what eventually became a really beautiful film.
Excellent. Well, we're getting close to running out of time, guys. But before we go, let me ask each of you what you have coming up next, cinematically or on TV. Some new projects that you're working on that you could tell our audience about. Maybe we'll start with we'll start with George again.
Oh, right now, I'm looking forward to this coming out. I'm working on a new album actually right now. That's kind of what's taking up most of my time. I have a screenplay that I wrote that I'm going to try to work on possibly directing. And, I always kind of just take one creative venture at a time.
Excellent. And Beau, what's on your horizon?
I'm almost finished filming this TV series for NBC. Ron Howard's making this. It's called Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, based on the book. I'm not playing the good guy, but it'll be out September 16th, so it's exciting.
Oh, lots of luck.
Thank you.
And you've got Mosquito State coming out, a couple weeks, Shudder. Huge.
Yeah, August.
It's so good. It's so good, man. That's a game changer for our boy Beau.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a Venice Film Festival. It did really well, but August 26th. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Getting a lot of buzz with that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
So, and Frank, you're in everything, but what else? Cool?
Yeah, you're getting divorced. You got to work as much as you can. I got a few films coming out the next month. Cop Shop that me and Carnahan produced, that he directed, me and Jerry Butler. And I'm most excited about Ida hitting the real world. And then I got a film called Gateway coming out September 3rd with the great Shea Wiggum and Bruce Dern and Olivia Munn. And I'm off to Malta to do some big action movie that pays you a lot of money.
I love.
And then I'm going back to Oklahoma.
And Jeremy and John, you guys both have teamed up on two more movies, right? Candyland and what's the other one?
Yeah, we're John and I are here in good old NYC, where we always post our films, wrapping up Candyland, which we actually departed from Oklahoma to shoot in Montana just in the spring, and we're getting that ready. It'll be completely finished in a month. It's a very gritty Lars von Trier-esque slasher picture with a lot of grit and heart and fun. And and we're getting ready to go shoot Little Dixie back in Tulsa, where I just can't say enough about. As a New York and LA guy, I didn't know anything about Oklahoma, and I feel like I'm an adopted Okie at this point, with John and his family and the film office there. And you've got Scorsese shooting there, and word's out on the street, Oklahoma is film friendly. Anyway, so Candyland and Little Dixie and whatever is in the beautifully twisted mind of John Swab we'll make after that.
He's a beautiful mess. That's how I describe him.
John, could you add anything to that?
No, I love all these guys, and I'm so proud of the work we've done together. And and like I've said, Tony, I'm really, really appreciative of you, and you gave me my first film festival shot, and I'm eternally grateful for that, because once I got a taste of it, I haven't looked back, and I'm so proud to be back here with Ida Red, and the words you said about it are amazing. And I love any opportunity to get together with these guys and just celebrate the film. So thank you so much.
Oh, you bet, John and Jeremy and Frank, Beau, and George. Thanks so much for your time being part of Fantasia's 25th anniversary edition.
Love it.
Saban will be releasing your movie, I think, in the fall, so everybody should look for that, and be sure to tweet all about this terrific crime thriller. Tell the world that Ida Red is one of the best movies of the year. And I wish you guys great success with it and everything else you got going on.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Tony.
You're always great, man. Thank you.
You bet. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.
Be well.